Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Eric Ham and we're live in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. And today, Donald Trump brings back plastic and Elon Musk takes away Kanye West. More on those and other stories from the United States and around the world. But first, let's get you caught up on the latest headlines. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets Vice President J.D. Vance at the AI Summit in France and congratulates him on his electoral win. After a 3-day visit, the Indian Prime Minister will head to the United States and meet with President Donald Trump. Hamas suspends releasing the remaining hostages, and Israel responds by putting its military on the highest level of alert and cancels all leave for its soldiers. Thousands rally in South Korea calling for the parliament to suspend the impeachment motion against former President Yoon Suk-yeol. Yoon was impeached for imposing martial law in the country in December of last year. A bus crash in Guatemala's capital kills at least 50 and leaves several wounded. Officials say that the bus veered off a highway bridge and plunged into a polluted ravine 65 feet below. And wildfires burned more than 70,000 acres in Argentina's famous Patagonia forest as firefighters struggle to contain the blaze. Officials say the fire has now burned non-stop for 12 days. We begin in the United States, where the Trump administration has now deported 2 flights of illegal migrants to Venezuela. Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro has in fact accepted the deportations after the flights landed in the country late last night. Now, according to ICE officials, the deportees include several criminals and gangsters and members of the dangerous Tren De Aragua cartel.
This is the first action taken there at the El Paso airport in Texas. There, 2 planes from our flagship airline, powerful Conviasa airline, have landed at an airport in the United States of America, have picked up almost 190 compatriots, and they are flying at this hour.
Meanwhile, Venezuela's interior minister confirmed that the deportation flights did in fact have some gang members on it.
95 migrants per flight. That story that all of them have criminal charges is a lie. Very few have them. They are going to go through migration, we'll have a medical checkup, we'll interview them to know how they were treated over there. You heard they left their families behind back there, they were separated. Today, we are trying to reunite them. They love Venezuela. They are happy and they are going to eat arepas.
Now, the Trump administration said that it will prioritize deporting illegal migrants affiliated with violent criminal gangs like Mexico's Sinaloa cartel and Venezuela's Tren De Aragua. In fact, ICE and DEA officials arrested a gang leader from the Venezuelan cartel in New York City just yesterday. Meanwhile, the Maduro regime has agreed to cooperate with the United States to take back anyone who is affiliated with criminal gangs.
Los aviones de Conviasa han llegado.
Conviasa reached the United States, and we have taken a favorable, positive step. I repeat this, every step must help us take another step. This way, I tell our migrants over there, your homeland awaits you with love, so you can bring back the experiences and lessons you've learned out in the world.
Los espera con amor.
Now, there are more than 7 million Venezuelan migrants who left their country in recent years and are believed to be living in the United States. The Trump administration, however, says that more than half of those Venezuelans are living in the country illegally and plans to deport all of them this year. Meanwhile, Maduro is willing to work with the Trump administration to take back all the deportees in hopes of seeing reduced sanctions on his country and especially its oil exports. However, President Donald Trump refuses to recognize Maduro as the legitimate leader of Venezuela, and it remains to be seen whether Maduro's willingness to accept more deportees will change President Donald Trump's outlook. And staying with the cartels, the United States has significantly increased its surveillance of Mexican drug cartels, not just at the southern border, but even deep inside Mexico. The Pentagon has confirmed that the U.S. military flew at least 18 intel gathering sorties using spy planes near Mexico in the last 2 weeks. The deployment of the spy aircraft and increased recon activity shows how the Trump administration is using the military at the southern border and beyond. At least 11 of the recent flights were conducted by the U.S. Navy's P-8 aircraft, which is popularly known as the submarine hunter for its superior radar systems that can track underwater activity. Meanwhile, the other flights were undertaken by the U-2 spy plane, which optimizes it in gathering high-quality images from extremely high altitudes. The flight paths released by the Pentagon revealed that these aircraft flew frequently along the U.S.-Mexico border from airfields in California, Arizona, and Texas, with one mission going deep into the Baja Peninsula. Now, according to a CNN report, current and retired military officials have never seen the U-2 being used for tracking cartel activity in Mexico. And on the ground, the U.S. Marines continue to strengthen the border wall with fencing as migrant crossings in the United States has dropped by nearly 80%.
I'm coming with my 2 children. I'm coming with a friend and her son, and it's always been the 5 of us. The group is just the 5 of us. We are already taking papers out of here to be able to look for work, to be able to enroll children in school. And we are here waiting for the process to find something to rent, a fixed apartment for us. And here we go. We're going to find a way to organize ourselves around here for a while.
Meanwhile, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has urged the United States to work with the Mexican military to fight the drug cartels.
Una parte importante que ellos tienen que hacer en su propio país.
There is an important part that they must play in their country. What's the final distribution on the streets? Aren't there cartels there? Or organized crime? We collaborate, coordinate, we meet and work together. But we will always defend our sovereignty. So there's an important part they must play there, a very important part. And then there's the Attorney General's memo. It's a general decree with references, but it's not very understandable. We must wait and see how it will translate. All agents of any U.S. agency must have a permit from Mexico to be in Mexico. This is processed through the Security Cabinet, and there must be a joint coordination, collaboration, and shared information. This happens in any country in the world. So it's part of the coordination process. We coordinate and collaborate, but as I've said, they must act in their own country too.
Now, the deployment of military spy planes is a first, and it remains to be seen what other measures the Trump administration will implement as it cracks down on Mexican drug cartels and violent gangs at the southern border. And staying in the United States, President Donald Trump has brought a new twist in the world of beverages. And it's not about what's inside the cup, but this time his target is a quote-unquote ridiculous situation affecting his daily life: paper straws. On Monday, President Trump signed an executive order rolling back a Biden-era policy aimed at phasing out single-use plastics from federal operations.
We're going back to plastic straws. These things don't work. I've had them many times, and on occasion they break, they explode. If something's hot, they don't last very long, like a matter of minutes, sometimes a matter of seconds. It's a ridiculous situation. So we're going back to plastic straws. I think it's okay. And I don't think that plastic's going to affect a shark very much as they're munching their way through the ocean.
Now, this isn't President Trump's first battle against the bendy villains. In fact, during his 2020 re-election campaign, his team sold Trump-branded reusable plastic straws for $15 a pack, claiming that liberal paper straws simply don't work. But while President Trump's crusade might seem like a quirky personal preference, the environmental stakes are quite severe. In fact, the world churns out a staggering 460 million metric tons of plastic every single year, and less than 10% of this gets recycled. The rest finds its way into landfills, rivers, and oceans, with experts estimating that 1 truckload of plastic is dumped in the sea every single minute. And plastic straws alone make up about 40% of single-use plastics, with over 390 million used daily in the United States alone.
The environmental impact of plastic straws versus paper straws is entirely unclear. This has cost both the government and private industry an absolute ton of money and left consumers all over the country wildly dissatisfied with their straws. So we're asking aspects of the federal government, federal departments and agencies to look at their existing procurement processes, and we're asking your Domestic Policy Council to look holistically at this issue to address it, and it really is something that affects ordinary Americans in their everyday lives.
Now, President Trump, however, remains unfazed, and MAGA supporters across the country are in fact weighing in, declaring they prefer plastic over the paper straws.
I would honestly prefer the plastic one over a paper straw, to be honest. I mean, I know it's definitely worse for the environment. I wish there was a different way. But I mean, the paper ones are always soggy, so it's a little difficult, but you know.
But now as the United States pivots back to plastic, questions loom large, and states like California, Oregon, and New Jersey have already put restrictions on plastic straw use. And globally, nations continue to grapple with the ballooning plastic crisis, struggling to find common ground as President Donald Trump brings them back into his life and ours. And now moving to Europe, Germany stands at a political crossroads with just a few days left before the national election. The far-right AfD party has steadily polled second for over a year, with growing support from young men. A recent survey shows 26% of the men hold a positive view of the party compared to just 11% of women. And as immigration and cultural shifts dominate discussions, the far-right party's narrative is being embraced by many young men. So what does this mean for Germany's future? Our next report explores.
On a cold, foggy February night, Germany stands at a critical juncture. With just 2 weeks until the national election, the winds of political change are swirling. Because for more than a year, the far-right Alternative für Deutschland, or the AfD party, has held the second spot in national polls. And its growing support among young men signals a political transformation that for sure is hard to ignore. Concerns over immigration have also become a rallying point. Incidents involving asylum seekers have fueled unease, pushing security and border control to the forefront of political discussions.
I was in shock. I could not comprehend it. I am still shocked. I am shocking because I am taking children myself quite often to public playgrounds here and elsewhere. I have no words. I am shocked. You hear this happening in other places, but now in your own city. And I do not understand. It is known these guys, not only him but others in Magdeburg, they are psychological ill or whatever. Why is nobody doing anything in time? Do these things always have to happen first?
And acting on it, the AfD has seized the moment, channeling anxiety into a narrative of national protection.
We need order and discipline in this country again. We need proper law enforcement. And we must not tolerate people who commit criminal offenses here, who come from abroad, to be allowed to stay here. We will deport them. We will do it.
But Germany's painful past adds a layer of complexity. Once seen as untouchably extreme, far-right ideology is now blent into mainstream conversations. For younger generations who did not experience the weight of history firsthand, the AfD has become just another political player.
Many of my friends don't even know who they want to vote for yet. And like myself, I don't quite know what I want to choose either. I would like to help them with the election-o-mat and hope that it will make it much easier for them to make their decisions.
Social media platforms like TikTok amplify this normalization, with party influencers gathering massive followings. And their slick content bypasses traditional media, drawing young voters into the fold.
And I am against this denigration of the opposition. And that's why I'm trying to talk to these people to see whether it might be possible to show them on camera. Hey, it works. You can talk to people with different opinions, whether they vote Green Left or AfD.
A Pew research in 2024 also shows a widening gender divide in political views. According to the survey, around 1 in 5 Germans, which is 19% of the voters, see AfD favorably. But a large majority, that is 79% of the voters, have a negative opinion of the party. Now among the eligible voters, at least 26% of men also have more positive views of AfD than 11% of women. And the share of men holding this opinion has risen 10 points since 2022. Because while young women focus on defending rights and equality, many young men feel alienated by these themes.
Especially here in Sonneberg, there is quite a lot of support for the far right, and so it's important to me to just be here, to show we exist, and that even though far right voices are stronger, we will not be suppressed.
Germany isn't alone. Across Europe, from France to Poland, far-right parties are capturing the imagination of disillusioned youth. In a climate of political uncertainty, young voters are gravitating towards radical alternatives, hoping for a shake-up in the status quo. In classrooms and public spaces, the tension is palpable. Educators report troubling comments from students, questioning historical truths and expressing regressive views on gender rights. So despite attempts to isolate the AfD, cracks are forming, and as Germany braces for the upcoming election, uncertainty lingers. Will the far right chart a new and unsettling course for the nation? The fog of February night offers no clear answers, only questions that loom larger than ever.
And our final story today is all about the rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. The artist has tested Elon Musk's patience and succeeded. The ex-owner, who famously champions free speech, finally hit the kill switch on Ye's account after the rapper's latest rampage, which included anti-Semitic, misogynistic, and racist remarks. Now, Ye, never one to shy away from controversy or, in fact, reality, had been using X as his personal chaos chamber, praising Hitler, declaring himself a Nazi, and peddling conspiracy theories. Our final report takes you inside the chaos of Kanye.
Just when you thought Kanye West or Ye had run out of ideas to out Kanye himself, he goes and does this. After a whirlwind of unhinged rants, anti-Semitic diatribes, and a fashion choice that would make even the worst dressed lists shudder, Ye has officially logged off from social media platform X. But not before turning the microblogging site into his own personal therapy session. One so chaotic that even Elon Musk, the patron saint of internet mayhem, had to pull the plug. The real chaos began online, where Ye embarked on yet another rant marathon. This time declaring himself a Nazi and praising Hitler. Because he never misses a chance to turn bad press into business opportunities. He also dropped a $20 Yeezy t-shirt featuring a swastika. And because no Kanye West scandal is complete with just one layer of ridiculousness, he ran a Super Bowl ad, a very expensive, very mysterious clip directing viewers to his website, which, surprise, was selling nothing but his Nazi merch. Now, let's be clear, getting banned from Elon Musk's X is no small feat. This is a man who welcomes controversy like it's an exclusive club with bottle service. But even he had to put his foot down when Ye turned his platform into a full-blown hate speech fest. Probably sensing his impending doom, Ye posted a farewell note. He dramatically thanked Elon Musk for letting him vent. The rapper called his X rants cathartic and compared the whole experience to an ayahuasca trip, which is frankly an insult to hallucinogens everywhere. For the unversed, ayahuasca is a psychedelic drink. Musk, however, was not feeling sentimental. He confirmed that the rapper's account had been removed for violating X's rules. Musk slapped Kanye's account with an NSFW label, which in Musk speak basically means too crazy even for me. A remarkable achievement, really. Before being digitally escorted out of the building, Ye made sure to squeeze in one last controversy. He reignited his beef with Taylor Swift, losing his mind over the fact that she was singing along to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us during the Super Bowl halftime show. He tweeted, and I quote, "Why are we letting Taylor Swift be seen on TV singing a song about taking a black man down? Kendrick is being used by these white people and Jews, and so am I." Oh, and in case that wasn't enough, Ye demanded that US President Donald Trump step in and help free rapper Sean Diddy Combs, who's currently facing sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Because when Kanye West spirals, he really spirals. With X officially Ye free, you'd think the world could take a deep breath. But let's be real, Kanye West is like a recurring nightmare that just won't end. His parting gift to the world? The announcement that he's setting up a Discord channel, presumably so that he can continue sharing his thoughts without the inconvenience of consequences.
That's First Post America for this Tuesday. I'm Eric Ham signing off from our studios in Washington, D.C. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.